What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown series for Eufaula Lake, or Lake Eufaula, out in Oklahoma. We're finally done with the Google Earth stuff, as you saw in the last episode. And if you missed that, just go out to the lake breakdown playlist and you can see all the stuff for Lake Eufaula. But now it's time to go offshore. That's what we're going to do tonight. Hop over using that Navionics boating now to see what we can find from a contour perspective. Let's go. Let's go ahead and jump into Lake Eufaula and see what we can find from an offshore perspective. Now, if you've never watched any of our lake breakdown videos before, what we use is Navionics mobile app to find the offshore hotspots. So really when we're talking offshore, we're looking more stuff that's a little bit further off the bank, or maybe you set up off the bank and cast a little bit closer to it, but you're not necessarily fishing right up on that bank line. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to stay on the eastern side for now. We'll do a few videos up here, talk about the offshore stuff. Then we're going to go to that northwest section. So anything that would be north and west of 69, that'll be the other section. And then finally, we'll finish off by coming down here at the lower section and doing the south section. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up here by the dam. And just like our rest of our videos, we start at the dam, we start working our way north and east, and then we wrap our way all the way around and complete everything. So let's just talk about first couple things as we're coming in here. Now, we don't have anything marked here, but I would probably check out this point, just because this point or this point, either one, just because they're main lake points, they're closest to some of the deepest water that's out there. And this one actually has a little creek bed that comes through. So you may want to check that out. And then as we move further up, the first spot that we really have for you is right here, and it's very similar to the same type of thing, right? You've got a major creek channel or river channel coming right through here. You've got two creek beds. So you've got a creek bed coming down through here, plus you have another feeder creek that's coming over here through this pocket, and they're all kind of converging right here around this point. So therefore, that makes it a very high percentage area that you'd want to look at. And then as we move up here, we just get a little bit, here's the dam right here, we're just getting a little bit further up into the first pocket. As we go in here, just a couple spots that we wanted to show for you. One was right here on this little creek channel bend. Back in here could be a really good spot where it really turns hard right in here. And this dock where we have the pinpoint at, this could be really good as well. The other thing here too is these are really deep docks. So both of these are going to be really good docks to fish. You definitely want to go take a look at those and see what you can find. Then we're going to move up. Next thing we find really is in this little pocket. And if you hit here, someone has put a marker here, but I believe this is a brush pile or something like that. So I went ahead and put the mark there for you. I don't know for sure what is there, but I would definitely take a look, as it seems like a very good point of interest. And then as we move over here again, we're coming off the edge of these points. This is just going to be a really good point to fish. Again, you got a creek bed that's out here. River channel is more out there in the middle, but main lake point, definitely a spot that you're going to want to go check out. And then moving over to this side, if I zoom in here, you're going to notice that it kind of, this is basically right where it starts tapering up and comes into a big flat that's back here. So from an offshore standpoint, you could set up here and kind of cast into this flat, especially like a springtime thing, and see what you could find back in there. Also, there's a little subtle point that's right here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's right there. There's a very subtle point that's right in here too that you could check out. I don't have that one marked. But definitely something that I would, if I was out there scanning around, I would go look right in here and just see if there's anything related to that area. All right, we're going to move on up. And then as we move on up, we're going to get into this first kind of big channel that's over here. So we're going to come around the point. Obviously, the point looks awesome. You got the river channel coming right through it, or right through the middle here. So you're probably going to have some brush piles and debris and stuff like that that's piled up near or around this point. So you'll want to do a lot of scanning right in this area and just see what you can find. But a really good point, major river channel, feeder creek coming over to the side of it as well. Those are always good high percentage areas to take a look at. And then as you move up here, again, another pretty good little point. Now these docks, you definitely want to take a look at these docks. These are going to be some really deep docks. Notice how deep this comes off, 33 foot all the way down to 50 foot. So just these couple, probably these two right in here, are going to be your deeper docks to fish for sure. Then we're going to come over here. We're going to get off the edge of this point, and it's really just a really good looking point to go fish. Now, one thing to notice here, right where that point is it looks like the river channel may come down a little bit further than what Navionics is showing, just based on the contours right here. It looks like there's a little bit of a ledge possibly, or something like that going on right in here. So we definitely want you to go check those out. Plus, being really close to the river channel there, that's a big deal as well. All right, so let's keep moving on up and see what else we can find in here. So get back in here, just one of those feeder creeks, but again, some really good deeper docks that are really close to that creek bed. So you definitely want to go look at those. Moving on up, we've got more deeper docks, and these actually set up perfect because you've got this river channel right here that's coming in and touching the outsides of these two docks right in here. So those are going to be great places to set up on from an offshore spot. As we move further back here, we've also got a creek bed you'll see coming right off the edge of this dock and right outside of the spot of this dock. So somewhere right in there, I can see them set it up in there as well. Then we're going to move back. We get a little bit further back in here. There's a really interesting spot that's right in this section right here. And you're going to notice where it just starts to come up and then come into that flat. Well, when you fish those little spots where it's almost like when you're fishing the edges of the big bluff walls. When the big bluff walls, it's easier to get on the outside edges of them, at least for me it is, and catch fish than it is to really fish the entire bluff wall. I'm not saying there's not fish in the bluff wall, because there definitely are, but it's easier, and I seem to find them more on that transition from coming from really steep up into the shallows, and that's kind of what you're looking at right in here as well. And then another spot you want to look at would be right in here where the river channel comes through. Obviously it's all blocked off, but see if you can find some washout in there, anything. Just see if you can find anything right here in this area. All right, so we're going to move on down. We're just going to talk about a couple more spots here. Again, you got one of those creek beds coming right in here, right off the edge of that dock. So a good spot to take a look at. Same type thing here. Got a creek bed coming through these two docks. Lots of docks in this area. I was surprised. I didn't think I would see that many docks. And then right here, this is going to be a potential ledge of some sort, or at least it's definitely a creek channel bend that you're looking at. Now this doesn't show it that great as far as what you're seeing here, but you can definitely tell from the contour standpoint that the creek bed comes out here and it swings this way and runs right up against the bank line right in this area. And that is a primo spot to go look at. So you're going to want to do a lot of scanning. Don't just get up here in 3 foot and scan and say I don't see anything. You need to get out here and get where that break is and then scan all around there. I guarantee you're going to find something in that area for sure. Then we're going to move down a little bit more and come up this way. And this just looks like an interesting spot. I don't know if this is an old pond or what it is. Looks like it could be an old possible pond. Really our waypoint's a little bit off. Needed it more right in here. But see this really deep hole that's right here? There's going to be these ledges all along this side right here. This could be a pond dam as well. So fishing in this area, and of course you got the main lake point right there. You've got a river channel off the outside edge of it. So I would look right in here for sure, see what you can find in that spot. Then we're going to move up, and as we move up here, I'm going to back out real quick and just show you where I'm at. So we were over here in this channel. We came out, and now we're right in here. And now we're really just going to be talking about a few docks that are really right in this area that we definitely think you should look at. Well, first thing is this point. So you've got a little point that's kind of hidden in here, and you'll see it. I went ahead and marked it for you, but it's a nice rounded point with a pretty good little flat top on it as well. So that's something to definitely consider. And then we're going to move down. These are really good docks, or look to be really good docks, pretty deep docks. For sure, but if you look right in between the docks, you'll notice another one of those really subtle points. It's right here. If I zoom in, you'll be able to see it a lot better. And here is that point that's there. And I'm not saying there's something there for sure, but those are the types of things that they'll collect on. So just at least go by and scan it and see what you can find. Again, you got these docks over here that are really close to a creek channel swing. So you could find some debris and stuff like that that's been collected up in these areas. You definitely want to do some scanning just in this general area. See if you can find anything under the water there. Then we're going to move on up, show you guys where I'm at. We came across now Now we're going to go up. This one's going to be confusing to follow me, so I'll try to do my best to zoom out when I can. But again, another really good point that comes out. It says hump, but really it's really more of a point that just comes out, and it looks really good. So definitely go and explore that. That looks like a good fall spot as well. So now that we've covered this whole arm right here, we're going to come up here again, just staying on this bank line, and we'll circle back and talk about the other stuff. Let's keep going. In here, the next spot that I want you guys to look at is right in this spot. So you can tell it gets really deep right here and then moves up. There's also a nice creek channel swing going on right here. So just scanning in this little area in here and just see what you can find. They're either going to be out here closer towards that creek channel swing, or they're going to be further down here. Obviously where this little deep spot is, and then you've got a little break that goes on there. Again, finding right where that starts to taper off into those flatter spots, like right in there and right in there. Those can be good spots too. So there's a lot going on right in here. There's also another point this here as well. So maybe just spend some time there to see what you can find. Now let's keep moving up. Next thing that we're going to find in here is going to be another one of those cut-ins again. And you can see them, and they're coming up to these little flats. So right there, it's almost like coming off the edge of the bluff wall there. And then the main thing there too is look how close that river channel is getting, or creek channel is getting to the bank line. So this could be a really good bank line right in here, right before it makes that turn, just all right in here. I'm going to move up. You got another creek channel bend that's right here. Great place from an offshore standpoint. You got another one right up in here too you can look at. Good little offshore spot. Again, creek channel is getting really close to this bank line right in here. So this whole bank line, at least when it comes and gets really close, you want to explore those for sure, like right here and wherever it tapers off. So like right in here as well, but also everything in between. So that takes us off from there. Now we're going to move over. We're going to come underneath this bridge. And we're going to see what we can find over here. So again, this thing is basically the same thing we've been talking about, really steep, and then it starts tapering into these flats. Those areas are great places to look. You got another one there. You've also got some really good looking stuff under this bridge. I bet this bridge is a honey hole. So you want to scan around the bridge, see what you can find. I know it looks deep, but if you've got pillars and stuff like that, this is going to be a very good bridge to fish, just based on how it sets up and the fact that it's a lot narrower too. It's going to really collect fish in that area. So that is going to be a very good bridge to go look at. Then we're going to move up. Next thing we find up here, things start getting a little bit interesting. We got a little hump that's out here, 13 foot. Then it comes down to a little, you can see right there in that area, and then down here, to that 20-foot part. So there's the hump, 13, and then there's the flat at 20. You've also just got some really good stuff back in here. Looks like maybe a possible gravel pit or something going on in this area. Again, another little point coming out here. Really good contours here. Look at this river channel, or sorry, I keep calling it river channel, but creek channel comes through here, and they kind of wash out right in this area. So you're talking brush piles, rocks, all kinds of interesting stuff that's going to be right there in that spot that you're going to go look at. Moving on up, really we're just pointing out some creek bed intersections that are right here. So these could be good areas to take a look at. You got a creek channel swing that comes over here and kind of hits against right in here. So this could be really good as well. Plus you've got a nice little flat point that comes out all in here. So maybe just looking in here close to where that bend is, close to where it's swinging, closer towards the land there. And then as we get up here, I mean, we're getting into some pretty crazy stuff, flooded timber and stuff like that. So not a ton to mark for you, but if we pay attention, we can see some things right here. Here's another little point that comes off that main lake point that we were looking at. Here's the main lake point, but if you look further out, that comes all the way out to 8 foot right there, and it's 10 foot back here, 10 foot there too. So you got a hump that's there that you could take a look at. Then we're going to move up here. We're talking creek beds. I'm just going to point these out to you. Little creek channel swing right there off of a little point. You got a creek bed here. You've got another good point where the creek channel's coming really close and getting close to this point. Same type thing out here, a little underwater point down here. If I pull this out, you can see it's just an underwater point that extends all the way out there. Now it's not that close to the river channel swing because it's way out here, but it still would be a pretty good looking point from an offshore standpoint to go explore. Then we're going to move up. We're going to look at these. Let me make sure I didn't miss any up here. I did. So we got a couple more in here to take a look at too. Now this is shallow stuff, guys. So I mean, it's shallow, but it's still offshore. It's 10 foot. So looking right in here and then also looking up here into these, where it starts to get into these flats, can be really good spots. And if you look right here, this is actually a pond dam. So you can see it comes up a little bit higher and then it falls back down. So that, or it's either a pond dam or it's like an old creek bed, and this is like the deep hole. So it's the deep hole, then it comes up and then it falls back again. But right in there, really close to where that marker is, that could be a good spot again to look into. Moving over here, just going to see some interesting things like here where it cuts in. You got this nice little point here, and you got a nice little, almost like a break that's coming here. So fishing around that point or fishing right here around this actual point on the lake, that could be good. Moving up here again, you're seeing the same type things. These are hard to see. I think we actually found this one on another map. But if you look right here, you got a little deep hole, or not really a deep hole, but more of like a flat. So you got 7 foot to 10 foot, so a little 3 foot drop, and you've got this big flat that's right in here in this area. So you could look at that. These up here are getting a little bit dicey, but we still wanted to mark them for you. So we've also got some creek beds, little feeder creeks marked for you as well. We've got a major intersection going on right in here. Those are always great places to look for fish, not just bass fishing, but catfish, everything else. I mean, these are just great spots. Again, creek channel swing right there. And then we're going to see the same thing way up here. Creek channel swing with some feeder creeks coming in. So not a ton of offshore stuff really per se, but you know, because it's shallower, but you definitely have a lot of good creek channels and stuff like that, and feeder creeks and all kinds of good stuff to look into when you're up there. So let's go ahead and come back on back down. Let me show you where I'm at real quick. Make sure I mark this or I'll end up losing where I'm at as well. But you can see here, we're just working our way back down. We went into all these coves up here, and now we're working our way back down into this area. And just ignore that little red pin. I accidentally hit that earlier, so we'll just pull that out of the way so we don't have to look at that. And now let's go down and let's see what else we found right in here. So again, we've got some feeder creeks. We've got a good point that's out here as well. So a really good area right in there to take a look at. You've got an isolated dock that's out here all by its lonesome. So you always know those are going to be good docks to go take a look at. As you move further down here, you're going to notice there's a little point that comes out, 10 foot. Nice little flat point that's out there. So you want to do a lot of scanning, a lot of side scanning, just see if there's anything up there feeding on these little points or little humps, whatever you want to call them, that are out there. Now we talked about this spot. This spot just looked great. It's got all kinds of good stuff going on in it. So you'll want to do some exploring, probably a community hole. That bridge, excellent bridge to be fishing. And then if you look right here, there's a little railroad crossing that goes all the way across here too. So you might want to check that out. And then the back of these docks where it gets up to where it's those flats, for whatever reason, they like to collect in those areas. So you can look there too. Then we're going to move out. We've got another dock that's out here, a fishing and diving hotspot. I can see why, because it's pretty steep. And then this is where it starts to come shallow, just like we were talking about. So right in those areas, those can be great areas. And then we're going to move down, and we're going to go down to right in here. This is a hard lake to follow, so sorry for the pausing, but also right in here. Really good point here. River channel coming down. This point comes out. It's a nice little hump that comes up on top of it. It's got a good saddle that's out here. There's a lot of good things going on with that hump right there. I really like that one. Then we're going to move down, see what else we can find. Good point here. You know, you may want to check out this bridge too. It's pretty deep, 40 foot, but you may want to check that out. And then while you're there, come over here. There's a hump here too at 26 feet. Very deep, but it breaks off to 34 to 40 feet. So right in here, that's got potential. I should have marked that one because I really feel good about that one. I'd go out there and look at that one for sure. I like how it comes up, has that hump, and then has that break into the creek channel. That's really cool. All right, so let's go back here. We're going to go in the river channel. Last thing here is just going to be this little bend that comes out here right off the edge of that point. Looks like there's an underwater metal fence too that you could check out that's back there. So some good stuff going on in there. Then we're going to move on down. Here's the creek channel swing touching that point. So that point's going to be a very attractive point. Same thing here. You've got a main, more of a main lake point. Also on this point, we talked about that bridge just a minute ago, but check out this road bed that goes to the bridge too and see if anything's collecting around that roadbed, because those roadbeds can be really good as well. Then we're going to move on over, see what else we can find over here. This part in here looks interesting too. There's a few of these out here on Eufaula, but notice this point that comes out, nice flat top, then it dives way down, and then you got this little flat that's up here too. So anywhere between those two little points, I would definitely go look at. This could be an old pond or something like that. So you're gonna have a pond dam here. Maybe this is one of the side of the pond dam as well. It's just really hard to tell, but this area in here, summertime, that's an area that I'm gonna spend some time doing some scanning around to see what I can find. And then another really good long tapering point, great fall spot right there. And then I'm going to come back out and just make sure we're not getting lost here. Once we get out to the main lake, we'll probably cut the video off. But here we've got a river channel coming down too, and this is right where it touches the point. So from here all the way over, those are going to be great spots. Nice bluff walls, nice ledges, stuff like that. Good stuff to look around. And then here too, a really good point that comes way out, long extended point. You've got a big hump that's out there at 19 foot and another good one right here at 7 foot. So all kinds of good stuff there. Then we'll move down. We got 3 or 4 more to show you before we cut this thing off. Some flooded timber, but again, a good main lake point. It's close to a bunch of intersections. It's gonna be a higher percentage area to find those fish for sure. And then going back in here, we've got the same type thing we've been looking at. I don't know if these are old ponds or what. This definitely looks like an old pond. Goes down to 16 foot and then looks like it raises up and then drops back down again. But somewhere in that area I would look at. Notice some people have put some markers there too. So you know that that's good. This is another one of those things where you got a little point that's out here that you don't really see, but it's right here. And sometimes those little points that not everybody else, if everybody's fishing a point, they might not fish those kind of subtle ones. And that's definitely a subtle point that you want to take a look at. Then, of course, guys, you want to fish these main lake points for sure. See what you can find out there. But that covers us, at least for that upper section for this east side. So what we'll do is when we come back, we're going to start right here at this waypoint. So I'm going to change that to a different color. Let's change it to man overboard, so we know where to start. We're going to start there next time, and we'll continue working our way down the north and the east bank line until we make our all the way down and all the way back up here to the dam. So we got a lot of stuff to cover, but that at least takes care of us and gets us started for the offshore stuff. Please make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe. Make sure you share this content with anybody that's out there. And last but not least, please make sure to go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have all these waypoints for sale on the site. You can get it into 3 sections. You've got the eastern section, southern section, northwestern section. I'm telling you, it'll change the way you fish. It'll definitely break that lake down quickly for you, and you'll be able to see it right there on your graph. So until next time, guys, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.